What is the meaning of leadership for a fresher? And how can a fresher show his or her leadership skills in an organization?
Right. So, conventional leadership basically talks about positions of power. Like you are either CEO or a big manager or vice president or something. Basically, the leadership is associated with the term power. But things are changing rapidly in last several years. We are currently living in a knowledge-driven world. Okay, things are changing every day. You look at the progress of internet. Every 6 months there is a new discovery, there is a new company which comes to the top of the leadership. So since it's knowledge driven, the world is very fluid, and the leadership comes from anywhere in the organization. It's not structured anymore. So it does not depend on title, it does not depend on the overall experience. If you just analyze the term leadership, leadership is a complex quality, but if you try to break it down into basic qualities, I can think of 4 basic qualities which form the overall leadership. One is thinking, we talked about that. The second is imagination. Okay, so thinking and imagination together lead to the vision aspect of the leadership. So if you are able to think about what you are trying to do, if you are able to visualize how these things are going to behave in future or in a bigger picture, then basically you form the vision aspect of the leadership. And then willingness or initiative is really the action part of it. So when you combine these qualities, it basically results into the leadership. So if you look at these basic qualities, then for freshers, exhibiting these basic qualities is very easy. So for example, when we were when I was fresher, I went under training, and there is one rule which we were taught about, and that rule is called as rule of 11. Okay, so I can give you an example. If there is a class going on and teacher is teaching something extremely important, everybody knows how interesting that is and wants to learn, but at the same point there is a door open and outside there is some noise going on. Everybody feels annoyed, but nobody does anything, so there is a thinking aspect, but there is no action part. So whoever basically stands on his legs, that is called as a rule of 11. So when you stand, it basically makes 11. So whoever stands on his legs and tries to close the door or tells the people outside that, okay, can you reduce the noise, that's basically the leadership. And if you take that attitude to whatever you are doing in your organization, then that is certainly going to bring a lot of leadership qualities out of you, and that's definitely path towards success. So whenever you find a problem, whenever you find an issue, again, think first, then identify the actions, and then use rule of 11 and try to work on it. So that's the the initiative or action part of it. Second story which I would like to share with you is a story called as Are We in a Right Jungle? So there is a story where there is a bunch of people who have been assigned the task of building a tree house. So the managers and architects and engineers basically start assigning a task, start designing the tree house, start cutting the boards, and then start planning. But there is one guy who climbs up a tree, a tall tree, and looks around, and then he says, guys, we are in the wrong jungle. So ability to think outside the conventional wisdom or conventional acts is extremely critical in case of leadership. So that guy is a clear leader because he is thinking, and he is imagining, like, are we in a proper place? So that's I would say a very interesting story. And finally, one statement I would like to say about leadership is it's all about accomplishing things. you take people with you and guide them and accomplish the task. Actually, from that I remember one story. I recently was in Bangalore and I got a chance to attend a lecture from Mr. Brad Smith. He is CEO of Intuit, which is a very large company in US. So when he was talking about leadership, basically he was saying that he told a story. It's about US kids. So he has a small daughter. I also have a small daughter, and I can very well relate to that story. So in US, whenever there is a soccer camp, football camp, basically small kids gather together. They bring their own balls and gather around. And since they are kids, they basically start fooling around and then they fight with each other. But whenever the coach comes, first thing he does is sets up a goal. Okay, and once that goal is set, then kids just forget their fights and then start taking their balls and kicking. They start kicking towards the goal. So the job of the leader is really to set up the goal and make sure that their team is committed to achieve that goal. So he doesn't have to do the management or execution part of it. Setting up goal and motivating the team to perform their actions is what leadership is all about.